Hello YouTube and people on the internet. It's the Tempest CFV here. It's February 1st and I've got update for my X-Saber deck for the format. Um, I'm trying to get out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, but this deck is just too good to not use right now. And I figured really like the way I have it right now, so I figured I'd update it for anyone who wants to keep playing X-Sabers. Because they're very good. People say they're inconsistent right now, but I think they're actually not. I think they can actually be really good if you can get everything you need for them. So yeah, which is not hard to do in this build. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. I don't think I do. So I'll just go through the build really fast. You're starting off here with this is more of an Xyz build because of just two cards I have to just make the deck work so well together. So you got your 3 Boggart Knight. You need him at 3 basically. There's a couple Beast Warrior Xyz monsters you need to have him in here for. And he's just really good in general, so I'd play 3 just in any case. He basically gets you a Faultroll as long as you have another X-Saber to play, so that's basically why. But you know, he can be used for other things too, as you'll see later. 2 Fullhelmknight, just a basic level 3 tuner you can summon with your Boggart Knight, and it's good because if it destroys a defense monster, it can special another X-Saber from grave, and it can negate 1 attack. So it's just a generic card that you want to play because it's strong. 1 Airbellum, this is also level 3 tuner. It's basically a 1600 beater that lets you discard a card from your opponent's hand when it swings directly and hits. So I wouldn't play more than 1. I think that X-Saber Fullhelmknight is a better it's got more options to use with it. But Airbellum is nice as a nice random beast stick, so I would still play 1. But no more than that. 3 Darksoul. You need to have 3 Darksoul because it's your searcher. During the end phase of the turn he's destroyed, you can search for any X-Saber, be it Boggart Knight if you're missing that extra summon, or a Faultroll if you need to summon that, or like Pashuul or a Fullhelmknight if you need to stop something or have a defensive wall. So he's a really good card in general. You have to play 3. There's just no not playing 3. 3 Faultroll. He's your main boss monster. In one of your win conditions, basically. If you have 2 more X-Sabers, you can summon him for free, but he can't be normal summon, so this is basically the only way you summon him. And then once per turn he can revive an X-Saber from grave. So it's basically, once you have 2 X-Sabers out and you have this guy, you basically go from having nothing to having complete field domination. And then if you make a Synchro or Xyz play after that, it could just take you like so far, especially the Xyz plays with this deck. So I feel like running 3 is really good since he's basically a win condition. You can probably get away with 2. I've run 2 in the past, but I think running 3 is just too important right now. So that's that. 2 Pashuul. This card is too important to not play. It can't be destroyed by battle, and it's also a level 2 tuner, which lets you go into your level 8 synchros. Some of the top decks this format are Heretic, Mermail, and those are the main ones. But like this lets you go into Crimson Blader, and that totally shuts down those decks if you can get to destroy something by battle. So it's really important, I think. If anything, just for the level 8 synchro plays. 1 Ragigura. This guy's really good. He's a Beast Warrior, which means you can search him off Tenki. When you summon him, he can let you add another X-Saber from grave to hand, so you can get your Faultrolls back if they're in grave. And since you can get your Faultrolls back, it means that you leave your Faultrolls open for Synchro and Xyz plays. So like, you can like do a Boggart play, summon Faultroll, use Faultroll to revive something, and then sync off the Faultroll to make Gottoms or like Scrap Dragon or something, right? And then your next turn you can play, like, okay, let's say you make Gottoms, which is a level 9 synchro with Faultroll and a Fullhelmknight. And then your next turn you play Ragigura, that lets you add Faultroll back to hand, and then you can summon it because you already control Gottoms and Ragigura. And that'll let you go off a lot faster. So I only play 1 because it is a Beast Warrior, and that means I can search it with Tenki. But you know, other than that, it's just not really needed at more than that because it's only like a 200 beat stick, so you can't really do much. Yeah. All right. The last X-Saber is 1 Emmersblade. I'm still not sold on this card right now. Like this format, there's so much that can pop stuff. Dragons are still a thing because of Heretics and Mythic Dragons. You got your Mermails that pop stuff. You got your Fire Fists. Harpies can't really pop your monsters, but like they just basically ignore everything. So because they can make Chidori. And I mean, I say Harpies, but like I've been testing against a whole bunch of different decks. Spellbooks can probably destroy this card. It's just this thing needs to be destroyed by battle in order to work. So I don't really like it at more than a 1 or 2 of. I definitely wouldn't play 3 right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I would cut it all together either, because there are those clutch times where like if your opponent needs to destroy a monster by battle, you can bait them into maybe destroying this, and that lets you get like another card, and then you can play Gottoms equal to get him back. I don't know, it's just little things, but he's okay as a 1-of. I don't know if I'd play any more than that though. Alright, so that's the main engine of the deck. And then last we got 3 Red Hood of the Firefist Bear. A lot of people say that Bear is not good in this deck even, but I'm playing 3 because it's just that good. Like Tenki is so good in this deck, and the Beast Warrior Xyz monsters that you can make are just so good, which is why I run 3 Bear. Now, honestly, since I don't have that many Xyz, I could probably get away with running 2, but 3 is just so good because it lets you draw into it more. And the more bears you have to use, the more pressure you can potentially put in. So I like having the 3 bears. And the last card is 2 Cardcar D. I'm still not sold on this card because I don't have many defensive, offensive like traps and spells. So normally I do just like set 1 or set 2 and then just use this and like draw 1. Or like if I know I can beat my opponent next turn, like you just swing for game normally. But like if you're like halfway down and you have like say you have a Gottoms on board and you just Gottoms loop them and discarded their whole hand, but you have Cardcar, you could like attack them directly, and then on your next turn you can just like use this and get cards, So the thing with Cardcar is like you have to use it when you have something to like back yourself up with, like a Bottomless or Torrential. So I don't have that many of those cards, so it's kind of hard to say whether or not this is actually good. But the thing is, this is a really easy card to side out because it is like extra draw power basically for me. So I can just easily like side 2 of these out for like Imperial Iron Wall or Mirror Force or Fiendish Chain, which are all on my side deck, or Max C or Valor, which are all 2-ofs I have in my side deck. So yeah, I find that there's not really any point, because if I'm maining this like game 1, if I never draw it, it's like whatever, I side it out and get more stuff. If I do activate it, then they see that I'm playing it, and they're like, oh, why is he playing Cardcar? And then I can just side it out game 2, and it's like whatever, So yeah, it's just a consistency card, really. Alright, moving on to spells, we got 3 Tenki. You need to play 3 of this card. It lets you search Boggart Knight, Ragigura, and Bear is really important because you can use it to pop things. 1 Tensu. This card lets you normal summon an additional Beast Warrior monster every turn. So I like to play this card because if I do have 3 Bear and the Boggart Knight, and going double Boggart into 2 different X-Sabers and then summoning a Faultroll is really good. Also going into a Boggart play and a Bear, or even playing Bear first to bait out like their Bottomless or their Torrentials, and then playing this to get the Boggart off is really clutch. So there's a lot of things you can do with this card. 3 Duality. This is another reason why I'm not sold on Cardcar, is because I'm also playing 3 of these. This is a lot easier to play in this deck than Cardcar because you can still go off after you use it. You only get 1 card with it instead of 2 with Cardcar, but usually the card that you get off this is going to be better than the 2 cards you can get off Cardcar potentially. So I do like to play 3. 1 Book of Moon, just because it's a random staple and I like playing it in this deck. I could cut it for potentially something else, but like really I have the space for it, so why not? Double MST because back row hate. You probably need to play 2 or 3 of this format just in general, because Mermail are still a thing and they have Abyss Sphere. And most of the decks like Tiger Kings, Fire Fists. I can't talk. I'm sorry. Yeah, Fire Fists gets slowed down by this card. So yeah, there's a couple decks. Dark Hole. I'm maining this in this deck because it's so easy to just clear your board and get everything back. And also because like you're gonna try and OTK with this deck if you can, so you want to push so hard with this if you can. So clearing the board with Dark Hole is pretty good. It's also one of those cards where like if you're facing like Bujin, I guess, or something, like you can just take Dark Hole out of your side and put in like stuff that so they can't prevent their guys from being destroyed. Alright, last we got traps. 3 E-Call. This is your win button basically. You play this once your graveyard has enough X-Sabers and you have like a Faultroll in hand, and then you just summon an X-Saber, play this, get 2 back, special Faultroll, and then go off. Normally this will get you 2 Synchro or Xyz monsters. At the very least, it should give you a whole bunch of pushing power, and you just basically win. The turn you play this card, you probably should try to win. And of course, since it's your win condition, you're going to play 3 at all times. In other builds, you could probably get away with 2, but in this one, like, I really feel like 3 is important. 1 Reinforced Truth, it's just a random searcher. During your opponent's turn, you can activate this to get your Pashuul out in defense. Since it can't be destroyed by battle, your opponent can't really do anything to you. It also combos with this, because if this is all you get and you have this set, you can just use this to get Pashuul, and then play this to get whatever else you need on your turn, and then win, basically. So I feel like Reinforced Truth can be played, it cannot be played, but I like it because it's a searcher. And then we got 4 more traps: Compulse, Bottomless, Torrential, Solemn. These are like some of the staple traps, along with Mirror Force and Fiendish Chain, that you can play this format. These are all 1-ofs. Oh, and Deep Prison. These are 1-ofs, so I try to play these in every deck that I can because they're just so good. This is just like good against random stuff and also stops Xyz plays. Bottomless, same thing. Torrential is good for clearing the board. And of course, Warning is Warning. It's really good against a whole bunch of things, especially cards like E-Call or like Harpy Channeler or like what's another card that's like Abyss Squall. Okay, you know, stuff that just summons a whole bunch of monsters at once is what you will use your Warning for. Alright, so we got your extra deck now. This is pretty good, I think. I like where it's at. 1 Naturia Beast. It stops spells, which is really good against spellbooks or a whole bunch of other different decks. So you can usually bring this out pretty easily in this deck. I don't know why you wouldn't play it. Catastor. Right now, I think Armades is the better level 5 synchro. So if you can get it, play Armades. If not, play this card. I don't have Armades, so I'm playing Catastor. It's personal preference, really. But Catastor is like okay against all the other decks, because he can just auto-destroy whatever. But like Armades is like in himself a lance. He can't be attacked or he can't be targeted or destroyed by effects when he's attacking. So it's pretty good. 1 Hyunlei. You need this card to pop back row. Once you summon, you can pop 3 back row. That's really good. You want to play this card if you can. Barkion. I'm not sold on this guy yet. Basically, he's stronger than Hyunlei, which is why I keep him in. He's also level 6. So I think he's okay. Maybe you could play something else if you wanted to, but yeah, because he's not really as needed anymore. But Naturia Beast still is. You could even play the second Hyunlei instead of Barkion if you want. But yeah, it's still a really good choice. 1 Souza, you need Souza. He's a requirement. Every time you go into a Boggart play that gets you Fullhelmknight, you have to sync for this guy because Boggart can only be used for a synchro summon of an X-Saber synchro. So it's not like he's bad, he's just a requirement. 1 Black Rose. I'm not sold on Black Rose right now yet either, but there aren't really any better generic level 7 synchros, so I don't really go into level 7s very often. Like, there's the weird times where I have like a bear and a Fullhelmknight, I need to like clear their board, like I absolutely need to, and I can just go Black Rose. But I don't know, it's still one of those cards where I'm like not sure, because if I can't win the turn that I play it, there's not really any point, and I lose all my back row if I do use it. So 1 Scrap Dragon. This card is always in my extra deck because it's just good. It lets you destroy things. 1 card you control, 1 card your opponent controls, and if you have like Tenkis in this deck, they aren't really doing anything. They're just Scrap Dragon fodder, which is pretty good. 1 Crimson Blader. I feel like this card is really good against like a bunch of different decks, mainly dragons and mermail, but there are other decks like rogue decks. Basically any rogue deck that synchros or has a boss monster will be stopped by Crimson Blader. So things like Dark World, things like not Wind Up, what's the other deck? Like X-Sabers. I mean, you know, obviously Glad Beasts can't do their fusion summons. Like, so many rogue decks rely on the extra deck and their big boss monsters, and so this card is just generic hate for them. I'm not sure if I actually have space for this card, but I'm also playing Stardust right now. This is basically what I've been waffling between as far as my level 8s go, because Stardust is really good in general, but he's kind of weak, and Crimson Blade is just random hate for so many decks. So Over time, I might just like cut the Crimson Blade and play Stardust. I'm still not 100% sure on that yet, but yeah. All right, so next we got Mistworm. Just generic rank 9 or level 9. I'm sorry. It's pretty good. You just bounce 3. If you can make it, then you're pretty much golden for that turn. Don't really know what else to say about it. It's just a pretty good, It's basically the only generic level 9 synchro that you can play, and I like level 9 synchros. One Gottoms. He's another level 9. Normally you go into this guy if you can go into level 9 because he's so much stronger than Mistworm. And he's also really good because you can like discard cards in your opponent's hand with him. So I like Gottoms a lot. He's also a Beast Warrior, which means he gets powered up from Tenki and Tensu. One Star Eater. This is one of those weird cards. Like it's a level 11 synchro, so if you can get it off, you can either push really hard or basically win that turn because his synchro summon can't be negated and he can be unaffected by spells and traps when he attacks. So that's really good. Basically, you make him with Faultroll, Pashuul, and Darksoul, or like Faultroll, Pashuul, and what's the guy's name? Emmersblade. That's right. Because I could choose 10, 11. So yeah. And there are those times where you can make this card, and if you can, it's usually a game winner. So one Gauntlet Shooter. This is a generic rank 6 Xyz, which means you make it with Yunlei, Parkion, and Faultroll, any of those. As many times per turn as you want. You can detach one from him and destroy any monster your opponent controls. So he's also 2400 attack, 2800 defense, so it's a really good beat stick. Honestly, I would play Ptolemies instead of this. I had a Ptolemies, I traded it for the Star Eater and the 2 other cards I'll show you. But yeah, Gauntlet Shoot is a really good card. If you have space for it, you should probably play it. One Bouncer. Bouncer is a really strong card. It's 2700 beat stick, and whenever your opponent activates an effect, you can detach one, negate the effect, and then your opponent takes 1000 damage. So, pretty good. And then the last 2 are one Tiger King and one Kagasuchi. Tiger King lets you play any fire formation from your deck when he is Xyz summoned. So let's get your Tenkis and Tensus if you need them. Also, when he is destroyed, you can send 3 face-up fire formations to the grave to special summon 2 Beast Warriors from your deck. So that second effect will be less relevant in this deck because you only have like 4 fire formation cards, but if you can get it off, it's really good and makes a lot of extra plays with this guy. So one thing I did was I had Tenki on board, and then I went Tenki. I played another Tenki from hand, went into Boggart Knight, and I had Tensu. Played Tensu, summoned Bear, summoned Boggart. Got Fullhelmknight off Boggart. Exceeded into this, set a 3rd Tenki. Swung at a Scapegoat with Fullhelmknight. Used it to bring back, I think, another Boggart. I want to say no, it was a Darksoul. I think I brought back. And then set that in defense. Swung with Tiger King, hit a Mirror Force, I think, or something. He blew my board away, and then he used Tiger King to get rid of the Tensu and 2 Tenkis to get 2 more Boggarts from my deck. And then main phase 2, I was able to special summon Faultroll from hand, because I then had enough monsters to do it. And then he was like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" And then I also was able to make Kagasuchi off that too. So there's things you can make with Tiger King. Second effect, like I said, won't always be live, but when it is, you can usually get it off pretty easily. And then what Kagasuchi does is you need 2 Beast Warriors to summon him. He's a 2500 beater, and when he's Xyz summoned, you mill 5. And he gains 100 for every Bujin card sent to the grave this way, but like you don't play any Bujin cards in this deck, so like, oh, why am I playing this card? Okay, so in my other build, I was running 2 Card Trooper and 3 Call of the Haunted because that engine just lets you mill free cards, and then whenever your Card Troopers are destroyed, you draw cards, right? Seems good, right? So with this card in my extra deck now, I can actually not play that engine because normally with the Card Trooper engine, the most cards you're probably going to mill is 6, maybe 9 if you're lucky, but excuse me, more than likely it's going to be 6. With this card, as soon as you play it, you mill 5, which is almost the same as 6, right? Also, he's a 25 beast stick, And he's got a third effect that he is pretty interesting. If a Bujin monster would be destroyed, you can detach one material from him instead, which basically means he's Mace Stroke, but he's 2500. So that's really good. And he's also a Beast Warrior, which means he gets powered up by Tenki. So if you can make this guy swing for 26, that's really good. That's 26 over Stardust. That's 26 over like Utopia or something. You know, 26 is a really good number to have in a deck like this. So yeah, Kagasuchi is really good if you can play him. Really recommend it for this deck. I'll show you the side deck really fast. It's kind of generic hate. 1 DD Crow for Bujin and some other decks that it's good against. 2 Veiler. Generic hate. It's pretty good this format, so why not play it? Max C at 2. I always have 2 Max C in here. You'll notice that nothing in here is a 3 of, because basically what I like to do is just take out my 2 card cards every game too, and play in the 2 best cards that are just good for that particular against that particular matchup, and then I decide on extra stuff whenever I see fit. So yeah, this is good against every deck of special summons. It's always going to be a 1-for-1. Third MST against some decks, it's important. Double Mirror Force. Not sure if without this card I might want to play Prohibition instead, but it's just a generic hate card if you need more defense. 2 Mind Crush. Good against decks that search like Mermail and Fire Fists, and a bunch of other different decks that have searchers. Basically anything that plays Tenki could really hurt you. So yeah, Mind Crush is really good. The Transmigration Prophecy. This card's at 1. It's really good against a whole bunch of different matchups. It lets you target 2 cards in either player's graveyard and shuffle them back into the deck. So it's good against what's the main deck that it's good against? It's good against Fire Kings. Oh, that's right. It's good against Bujin. So basically any deck that has something in graveyard that's going to keep coming back, you can use this to get it back into the deck. And then against stuff like Bujin, it prevents them from banishing like Quillen or like Centipede to pop your cards, or like Turtle. You can get Turtle back out of the graveyard, and then that prevents them. That makes Yamato vulnerable to destruction. So yeah, I really like this card. And then we got 2 Phoenix Chains. Phoenix Chain is just really good this format. If I had space, I'd main it, but I just don't. Like if I took out the card cards from my main, I'd have to main deck this. And that would take out a little bit of space for things that I'm not even sure if I need to decide or not. So really good against a bunch of different decks this format, mainly Fire Fist, but there's other decks. And then 2 Imperial Iron Wall. So this is good against any deck that has dragons in it. So if you have a Fire Fist deck that's playing Blaster, or like a Mermail deck that's playing Tidal for some reason, I don't know why they would summon Tidal, but you know, whatever. It's mainly good against dragons, I guess. Some spellbook builds, and Bujin, I guess, because it stops their Quillen and stuff from going off. So yeah, I would only side 2. You can probably, it's not like dragons are a huge thing anymore, so you can probably get away with siding 2. But yeah, contrary to what people might say, it's actually a very good card to side this format. So. I think that's the whole deck. Yeah. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please be sure to comment below. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching.